Welcome into the LMU men's basketball report for December 6th. Scott Erlin in here with head coach Josh Schertz to catch you up on the Railsplitters. Coach, since we last talked, you guys have been really busy, played 3 games in 5 days, just wrapped that up last night. And really the last 3 games have gone just about as good as you really could have hoped. All 3 games here at Tex Turner Arena. Obviously, start with the first one, Lenore Ryan. 91-50 win. Then Coker on Saturday night, a 115-74 win. And then last night against Brevard, a 100-50 win. So all wins by at least 40 points. So just talk about that 3-game stretch for you guys.
Well, obviously, you have, margins like that. A lot of things, kind of a confluence of circumstances when it's that big. We played pretty well, I think, in all 3 games in terms of offensive execution, and our energy level and defense has been better. I think guys are getting more committed to doing the things that you need to do to be a good basketball team, particularly as it relates to defense and rebounding, which are areas we were really poor in the early season. I still think we can grow a lot in those areas, but we're better than we were. And then offensively, we have a team where we think if we run good offense, that we can put points on the board. And then when you have those type of margins, obviously, you're not getting your opponent's best shot either. Sometimes last night, Lenore Ryan and Coker, we maybe didn't play great defense in stretches, and they just missed shots, and that's a part of it too, right? So it's always a confluence of circumstance. You have big margins, and I think it's one of those things where from my standpoint, we know as the season goes on, you're not going to have margins like that all the way through, but the focus has to be on if we keep pounding, if we keep playing hard, play together, that's going to give us the best chance to for our main goal, which is to be the best we can be as we get towards the end of the season and be playing our best basketball, give ourselves the best chance as we head into March. But that's where we are now. We got to kind of keep pounding, keep focused on improvement. But those 3 games I thought were a significant upgrade from the early season on both sides of the ball. And so that's what we talked about in the preseason, was it was going to be about growth, and we're a lot better team than we were when we started off in November, and hopefully again we're continuing to work and keep pounding away and be a much better team here as we get to January and on and on.
Well, one of the things we talked about after the Coker game is that was a 40-point win, obviously, and never in program history has there been, even during your early years, have there been 3 straight 40-point wins. Now 4 straight wins by at least 40 points. And that comes after on the tail end of those 2 back-to-back losses to Huntsville and Carson Newman. So do you guys, and you had said after that game you really felt like you have turned the corner. What did you see change in your team after that game at Carson Newman that's really kind of led the way, paved the way for what's happened the last 2 weeks?
Well, I think a better understanding of what it takes to win, a better commitment to what it takes to be a good basketball team. I think probably a higher level of humility. I think we went in, we talked about this, we went into the season, and I think the team that played Huntsville had a complete lack of humility. And we weren't playing very hard, we didn't play very well together, we weren't tough, weren't smart. None of the things that go into winning basketball games. Everybody, a lot of people think it's getting buckets and scoring points and all that type of stuff, but there's so many factors that go into being a good team, and it all has to start with your defense and your rebounding, and offensively, taking care of the ball and moving it, and shot selection, all these various things that you got to do, this blueprint you got to follow. There's no secrets to it. Everybody has the same blueprint. It's just if you have good enough players and if they'll follow and do the things necessary to do it. I think early in the year, I think we thought we could kind of show up, roll it out there, and get the job done on talent alone. I think the Huntsville game and the Carson Newman game showed us that's not going to be enough. And I think coming out of the Newman game, we played hard against Newman. I told you, and the Huntsville game was the lowest point for me in my 9 years here in terms of I thought we were selfish and didn't play hard, and a lot of things that are negative. We quit when things got hard, all those things. I think against Carson Newman, we played it really hard. We competed. well. We just got exposed with a lack of toughness, which had reared itself in other games. It just hadn't been exposed as glaringly as it did against Carson Newman. So I think the biggest change for us was mental. We haven't had enough practice time to get great execution-wise from there. I think the biggest change was just in terms of our guys' commitment to doing the things that lead to good basketball. And I think across the board, we have a lot of new guys like Chris Berry, guys like, Scoot Taylor, guys like Deshaun Patterson, Trayvon Shaw, Donald Liz, Rudy Big Boy, guys that are playing that haven't played here are starting to figure out, okay, this is what you got to do to be a good team. And I think they're becoming more committed to doing those things.
Well, and obviously it's kind of easy to find teaching points and things like that after losses. There's ways that you get exposed, like you said, but the last 4 games, everything has gone so well for you guys from a margin standpoint. Like we said, so for you you get to go back to the drawing board now over the next, without playing again until December 14th. So where are you going to highlight from the last 4 games, like areas where you still think that there are room for improvement and growth?
Well, I think we could still guard the ball much better. I think, watching the film with Brevard, they got the rim a number of times, and we were able to use our length to cover up some things, but we can guard the ball much better. I think we can be more consistent with our energy and technique positionally, defensively. Our help side can be much better. I think there were times in transition, we got exposed a little bit, not against Brevard, but in the previous games. Offensively, our execution can be much better. Our screening can be better. We have to clean up in terms of understanding plays, because it's harder for some guys because we're playing. Manuel's out last night, but we play sometimes with 2 5s, and sometimes we play with a Dorian at the 4 and one of those guys at the 5, and sometimes we play with Dorian at the 5, and so there's a lot of different ways to play. We've got to clean up, in terms of understanding play execution. So Emmanuel's got to learn the 4 and the 5, and Dorian has to learn multiple positions, and even Luquan, because sometimes he plays the 4 for us. So making sure that we have execute better when we're in positions that because we're such a hybrid team in terms of how we play, making sure we execute better offensively when we're in those different situations in terms of personnel.
One at the same time, is there going to be any particular stretch in any of the last 3 games in particular where you might highlight and say, this is when we're at our best, this is what we're doing, and this is what makes us what we are, and helps us reach our ceiling? Yeah,
I think you could take bits and pieces of all those games. I think there was we're at our best when we're really playing with great energy and great toughness and unselfish, on the offensive end. When the ball moves, we usually can find a good shot. I think, it was last night, we're playing Brevard, and early on I think we were down 7-6, and ball was sticking, and guys were driving into traffic and the crowds and taking bad shots, what have you. And we subbed and went smaller, and anyway, we went on a run, and they called timeout, and I think it was 30-10 when they called timeout, and Luquan came to the huddle, and he was like, that's what happens when you move the ball. That's what happens when the ball moves, and to hear him say that, it doesn't say much, but letting guys know, hey, as long as we move it and we take care of it, and our shot selection's good, we're going to put points on the board. So, I think understanding, the defensively, when we're energized and we're flying around and we're locked in, because of our length and because we have guys who can move their feet, we can be really good defensively. And again, it happens in stretches. I think the thing for us is we got to take those pieces from those last 3 games, show them, and then say, okay, now what we have to do to really, hit our ceiling at some point is to become, this has to be consistently who we are. Not, we were this team for 25 minutes and then the other 15 minutes we were duds. Or, hey, when we get prosperity in a game and we make a run, can we stick with it? Or, hey, we have to deal with adversity because opponent made a run, or we're on the back end, can we fight through those things? And the thing that we haven't had to deal with a lot in the last 4 games is any type of adversity, right? So, we've been up and had, pretty large margins, and so that'll be coming up, as the schedule kind of flips here. It gets tougher, and not just Wingate and Newberry, but certainly moving past that into Bellarmine, and I think you got Mars Hill and then Queens. So we'll play a lot of nationally ranked teams and really good teams here in a short stretch of time. So that's where we're going to have to get to beat really good teams, is be able to be at our best and do it more consistently, and that's what we're going to try to hit on this next week, because obviously the goal is to step on the court against Wingate and be improved, be better execution, be more consistent in our defensive energy, principles, toughness, rebound the ball. I still think we try to out-athlete you more than stopping guys' momentum and going to get the ball. So we can do things better in every area, and that's where we got to focus on.
Well, and we talked about this a little bit last night, but I want you to elaborate on this. Since the season started on November 11th, it's been pretty much a constant stream of preparation games. Now you're 9 games in, and you don't play again until December 14th. So got a nice little reprieve here, as well as a lot of time to kind of go back to the drawing board and practice, like you said last night. So really kind of elaborate on what the plan is for you guys the next few days.
Well, we're obviously smack dab in finals week, so they're going to take today and tomorrow off. We'll let them focus on their finals and get that out of the way. And when we reconvene Thursday afternoon, really most of the finals will be behind them. We'll have some guys who have Friday morning finals, but we'll be on the back end of that. So this gives us a chance the way the schedule falls, gives us a chance to really focus in and put that where it should be, which is as a priority. And then when we come back, I think that's got to be you got to utilize that time intelligently. We got to go back and really self-evaluate our program and self-evaluate our team and see exactly where, in terms of our weaknesses, what are the main things that where we can grow and get better, and then also look at your strengths and what are we doing well and how can we improve those. You want to obviously soar with your strengths and manage your weaknesses, but there's weaknesses inside of our team and things we're not doing well enough that we got to go back and we got to really hammer in on those things. We can hopefully, we discuss some of the areas that we can get better in. While the margins have been big, I think the thing you always got to look at on this winning streak and on the losing streak is, before that is that everything is, you're not too far away, right? I mean, you can, small things that you don't do well, that you were doing well, all of a sudden you're not doing them well, and your level of play, your level of performance falls. You make some small adjustments and you do some things better, and all of a sudden you're playing much better. And I think that's kind of, for us, has got to be go back, really spend the next 2 days as a coaching staff looking at everything we need to do and the areas kind of improvement, really get to work on those, get guys to see it through film, get guys to do it in practice. It'll also give us a chance to, like I said, clean up, some areas on the offensive end of the floor as well. Maybe add some things in, and hopefully get like Emmanuel Terry back healthy. He missed last night with a shoulder sprain, and we'll have some of those things, clean up some bumps and bruises, and so it'll be hopefully we'll come back, and you want to go in the Wingate game with, like you do every game, fresh legs and a clear mind, but we won't start prepping for Wingate till Monday. So we'll have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday to really just focus on LMU and what we need to do to become a better team.
As we've typically done, we're about a third of the way through the season, so what I really want you to do now is kind of gauge where you guys are at right now. You spoke early in the preseason about presuming there would be more adversity this season than there might have been in past years, and there was, but at the same time, you started the season with 3 straight blowouts, 2 straight losses, and then 4 straight blowouts. So kind of assess kind of where you guys are at right now at the 33% mark of the regular season.
Gotcha. I think I'm always trying to look at the numbers, in terms of wins and losses. It's funny because I went to the cafeteria the other day. We had a recruit in, and I saw some community people and everything, and everybody was, man, you guys are going to get better. Keep your head up. We were 5-2, and it's like, the expectations are always. And look, no one's more impatient than I am. But I think a lot of in terms of record, I think a lot of it is who you've played and where you've played them at this stage. Not everybody. Your resume is not a resume at this point. We played, I think, some really good teams. We played a lot of teams away from home. We're going to play some more good teams coming up, and certainly Bellarmine coming here will be a huge game. But I think we're kind of, except for Bellarmine, we're right in the mix of league now. I think we've grown a lot. I think we've become a more humble team. I think we've become a team that has a better attention to detail. I think we're figuring things out offensively in terms of sharing the ball. I think we saw that, hey, if you don't defend, if you don't rebound the ball, particularly on the defensive end, you're not going to beat really good teams. And Huntsville and Carson Newman really kind of, I think, hammered that home. And while you hate to lose, it's a part of it, and it's worthwhile if you learn and grow from it. And in a season, you're always dealing with either prosperity or adversity, right? I mean, you're either on a 4-game winning streak and you're trying to keep guys, which is hard to do, keep guys focused on improvement while they have success, which is not easy, where guys are able to, just keep kind of pounding away and not get moved too much by winning and losing. Or like we were coming off the Carson Newman game, we're on a 2-game losing streak, we're dealing with adversity, and you're trying to keep guys confident and understand kind of, hey, we're not too far off. Like if we make these changes and we start doing these things better, we can grow. And that's why we've always tried to stay focused on the process of growth. I think, coming into this little break here, I'm pleased with where we are, because I do think we've gotten better each week. And now the hope is that as we, for the first time really all year, kind of have to handle a little bit of prosperity. We've won 4 games in a row. Now, can we handle that? Because when we won 3 games in a row, we didn't handle it well at all. We had, it was really the 2 games, and then we went and had the worst week of practice we've had all year before going to Evansville, and then, really played 15 minutes good out of 80. And so, hopefully we'll handle it a little bit better, be a little more mature, and understand that, take those lessons from the Huntsville game, from the Carson Newman game, and move forward with that, that deal where we understand that hey, we got to go out, perform, got to play well, got to get better, and stay focused on the improvement, the growth and development, because our best is way out there. We're nowhere near as good as we can be. I think we got a really talented group of guys. I think we're starting to gel, starting to come together, starting to become a team. There's things that are starting to happen, and everybody wants it to happen immediately. No one more than me. But those things take time, and we got a lot of new pieces, a lot of different guys, a lot of guys trying to figure things out. But I do think the thing that I'm most proud of as we get into this stretch is, I think coming off those 2 losses, is those guys showed that they're competitors. They showed that they have pride. They didn't, lay down after losing 2 games. They came back and they played with a much better toughness, much better resolve, try to do the things we're asking them to do, and thus we've gotten better. Now the key is to continue that progress while we have some success and build on that.